Every life is a story, every moment a chapter. Here on Slow English Stories, we pause to listen.
Welcome to Slow English Stories.
Today we tell one of the oldest stories in the world.
It is a story of a powerful king.
A king who was part God and part man.
He fought monsters and challenged the heavens.
But his greatest battle was against death itself.
This is the Epic of Gilgamesh.
In the land between two rivers, the sun burned the earth to dust. In that land there stood a city.
Its name was Uruk. The walls of Uruk were strong. They were built of baked brick and shined in the light.
The walls rose so high, they seemed to touch the sky. Inside these walls lived a king.
His name was Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh was not like other men. The gods themselves had made him.
He was 2/3 God. He was only 1/3 man. His mother was the wise goddess Nin's son.
From her, he received his beauty and his courage. His strength was greater than any man alive. He could lift mountains and wrestle with lions.
When he walked through the streets of Uruk, his people looked at him with fear and wonder. He was their king and their protector. He was the builder of their great walls.
But he was also their sorrow. Power without a challenge can become a cruel thing. Gilgamesh had no equal.
No one could stand against him. And so he grew arrogant. He believed the world belonged to him.
He walked through his city like a wild bull. He took what he wanted. He took sons from their fathers to serve him.
He took new brides from their husbands. He took them on their wedding nights. The people of Uruk suffered under his rule. Their joy was gone.
In their homes, they whispered prayers. They prayed to the great gods in the heavens. Our king is too strong, they cried.
He is a storm with no end. Please, create his equal. Create a man who can match his spirit. A man who can give our city peace.
The gods heard the prayers of the people. The great mother goddess, Aruru, listened. She went to the edge of the wilderness.
She took clay from the earth. She washed her hands in water. From this clay she formed a man.
His name was Enkidu. He was not born in a city. He was born in the forest under the open sky.
His body was covered in long hair like an animal. He did not know the ways of men. He lived with the gazelles. He ate grass and drank from the river.
He was the spirit of the wild. He was strong and free. One day, a hunter saw Enkidu at a watering hole.
The wild man was breaking the hunter's traps. He was setting the animals free. The hunter was afraid. He had never seen such a powerful man.
He went back to Uruk. He told his story to the king. Gilgamesh listened. He was not angry. He was curious.
He told the hunter, "Go back to the forest. Take with you a woman from the temple, Shamhat. Her beauty will tame him.
When he sees her, his wild heart will change. The animals, his friends, will run from him."
The hunter did as Gilgamesh commanded. He returned to the wilderness with Shamhat. For 6 days and 7 nights, Enkidu stayed with her.
She taught him the ways of humans. She showed him how to eat bread. She showed him how to drink beer.
When he looked at his reflection in the water, he saw a different man. He was no longer just a creature of the wild.
He tried to return to his animal friends, but they saw him and were afraid. They ran from him.
Enkidu was alone. He had lost his first home, but he had gained something new, wisdom.
Shamhat told him about the world of men. She told him about the great city of Uruk. She told him of its powerful king, Gilgamesh.
She told him of the king's strength, but also of his cruelty. When Enkidu heard how Gilgamesh treated his people, a fire grew in his heart.
I will go to Uruk, he said. I will challenge this king. I will show him a strength that is equal to his own.
Enkidu traveled to the great city. He stood in the busy streets. He saw the tall temples and the strong walls.
The people of Uruk gathered around him. They were amazed by his size and his wild appearance. They said, "He looks like Gilgamesh, but he is from the wild."
That night, Gilgamesh was walking to a wedding. He planned to take the bride for himself. It was his terrible custom.
But as he approached the door, he found his path blocked. Enkidu stood there, silent and strong.
He would not let the king pass. Their eyes met. In that moment, they saw their own strength reflected in the other.
They began to fight. In the middle of the city square, the two giants wrestled. They were like two great bulls.
The ground shook. The doorposts of the houses trembled. They fought with all their power, a storm of muscle and will.
For a long time, neither could win. But Gilgamesh was the king of Uruk, and his divine blood gave him an edge. He pushed Enkidu to his knees.
The fight was over. Gilgamesh was the victor. But in his victory, his anger was gone.
He looked at the man before him, the only man who had ever matched his strength. He saw not an enemy, but a brother.
Enkidu looked up at Gilgamesh and smiled. "There is no one like you in all the world," he said. They embraced.
Their rivalry was finished. Their friendship was sealed. From that day, Gilgamesh was no longer alone. He had found his other half.
With Enkidu by his side, Gilgamesh changed. The wild energy that had made him a tyrant now had a focus. But peace made them restless.
One day, Gilgamesh said to his friend, "Our names will be forgotten. We live and then we die. I want to do a great deed. Something that will make people speak our names forever.
Let us go to the forbidden cedar forest. Let us kill the monster who guards it, the terrible Humbaba."
Enkidu's face grew pale. He knew of Humbaba. The gods put Humbaba there to protect the sacred trees, he warned.
His voice is like a flood. His mouth is fire. His breath is death. To face him is to face our end.
But Gilgamesh's heart was set on glory. He saw the fear in his friend's eyes, but he would not be stopped.
Together they went to the blacksmiths. They ordered great axes and swords.
They stood before the elders of Uruk. They announced their quest. The elders were afraid for them, but they gave their blessing.
Gilgamesh's mother, the goddess Nin's son, prayed. She prayed to the sun god Shamash. She asked him to protect her son and his companion.
The journey to the cedar forest was long and dangerous. They walked for days. They crossed mountains and walked through valleys.
Each night Gilgamesh had terrible dreams. He dreamt of a mountain falling on them. He dreamt of darkness and fire.
Each morning, Enkidu would listen to his friend's fears. He would find a message of hope in the dreams. The falling mountain is Humbaba, Enkidu said. It means we will defeat him.
Finally, they stood before the gate of the great forest. The cedar trees were so tall they blocked the sun. The air was thick with a strange, sweet smell. It was a place of magic and deep silence.
As they stepped inside, they heard a sound. It was a roar that shook the leaves on the trees. It shook the ground beneath their feet. Humbaba was coming.
The monster appeared. His face was a twisted mask of fury. He was a giant covered in thick scales. When he moved, the forest itself seemed to tremble.
Gilgamesh felt a cold fear in his heart. It was a fear he had never known. He wanted to run, but Enkidu stood beside him.
"My friend," he shouted. "Two people together are stronger than one. Do not be afraid." Their courage returned. They raised their axes and charged.
The battle was a storm of noise and chaos. Humbaba's roar was deafening. He breathed fire that burned the sacred trees.
But Gilgamesh and Enkidu fought as one. They moved together. Their swords flashed in the dim light. Gilgamesh prayed to Shamash, and the sun god heard him.
He sent 13 great winds to blow against the monster. The winds blinded Humbaba. They pushed him back and held him still.
Seeing his chance, Gilgamesh leaped forward. He captured the great monster. Humbaba, defeated, pleaded for his life.
"Let me go, Gilgamesh," he begged. "I will be your servant. This forest will be yours." Gilgamesh felt pity for the creature.
He looked at Enkidu, thinking of mercy. But Enkidu's heart was hard. "Do not listen to him," he cried. "Kill him now, before the gods find out."
And so, Gilgamesh lifted his great axe. He struck off the monster's head. They had done the impossible.
They cut down the tallest cedar tree. They returned to Uruk as heroes. The city celebrated their victory.
Gilgamesh washed himself and put on his royal clothes. He was beautiful and powerful, shining like the sun. The goddess of love, Ishtar, saw him from the heavens.
She was filled with desire. She came down to him and said, "Gilgamesh, be my husband. I will give you a chariot of gold and jewels."
But Gilgamesh looked at her with scorn. "Why should I marry you?" he asked. Your love is a trap. I will not be another of your broken toys.
Ishtar's face turned dark with rage. No mortal had ever spoken to her this way. She flew to the heavens to her father, Anu.
He insulted me, she screamed. Give me the bowl of heaven. I will send it to Uruk to destroy Gilgamesh.
Anu refused at first. The bowl of heaven is pure destruction, he said. It will cause 7 years of famine.
But Ishtar was wild with anger. If you do not give me the bowl, she threatened, I will smash the gates of the underworld. I will raise the dead, and they will eat the living.
Anu was afraid. He gave her the bowl of heaven. The great beast descended from the sky. Its horns were made of precious stone.
When it snorted, the earth split open. A great crack appeared. 100 men of Uruk fell into it and died.
The city was in chaos. But Gilgamesh and Enkidu were not afraid. They ran to face the beast.
Enkidu circled behind the bowl. He grabbed its thick tail with both hands. The bull roared and tried to shake him off. But Enkidu held on.
This was the chance Gilgamesh needed. He ran to the front of the beast. He plunged his sword deep into its neck.
The bowl of heaven crashed to the ground, dead. They had saved Uruk. But they had also shown great disrespect to the gods.
Ishtar stood on the city walls. She was crying out in anger and grief. Enkidu, full of pride, tore off one of the bull's thighs. He threw it at her face.
That night, Enkidu had a dream. He saw the great gods meeting in council. They were angry.
They have killed Humbaba, the gods said. And now they have killed the bull of heaven. One of them must pay the price. One of them must die. And they chose Enkidu.
A terrible sickness fell upon him. It was a punishment from the gods. For 12 days, he lay in his bed, growing weaker.
Gilgamesh sat by his side, helpless. He could fight monsters and build walls. But he could not fight this.
Enkidu told him of his dreams of the underworld. It was a dark and silent place. A house of dust where kings sat in shadow.
Finally, Enkidu looked at his friend one last time. And then he was gone. The silence in the room was heavier than any mountain.
Gilgamesh's heart broke. He could not accept it. For 7 days and 7 nights, he sat with his friend's body. He hoped he would breathe again.
He roared with grief. He was like a lioness who has lost her cub. He tore his magnificent royal robes. He dressed himself in the rough skins of animals.
The death of his friend had shown him a terrible truth. He, Gilgamesh, was also part man. One day, he too would die. His body would become dust.
For the first time in his life, the great king was afraid. This fear was a fire that consumed him. He left his city, his throne, his life.
He began to wander the wilderness. He had a new quest. It was not for glory. It was for life. He would find the secret of immortality.
He traveled to the ends of the earth. He searched for a man named Utnapishtim. This man had survived a great flood. The gods had given him eternal life.
His journey was filled with impossible trials. He passed through the great mountains. There, scorpion men guarded the path of the sun.
He walked through 12 leagues of complete darkness. He came to a beautiful garden by the sea. He met a wise woman named Siduri.
She saw his grief and his wild clothes. "Gilgamesh, where are you going?" she asked. "You will never find the life you're looking for."
The gods gave death to mankind. They kept eternal life for themselves. Go back to Uruk. Eat, drink, and be happy. That is the best a man can do.
But Gilgamesh's fear was too strong. He could not listen. He had to continue. He crossed the waters of death with a ferryman.
At last, he reached the island of Utnapishtim. The old man looked at Gilgamesh. He was not a god, just a man. Gilgamesh asked him, "How did you find eternal life?"
Utnapishtim told him a secret story. He told him of the great flood. "The gods decided to destroy the world with water," he said.
But one god, was my friend. He whispered a warning to me through the wall of my house. He told me to build a great boat, and to take my family and the seed of every living thing inside.
Utnapishtim described the terrible storm. It lasted 6 days and 6 nights. The world was covered in water. His boat came to rest on a mountain.
His immortality was a special gift from the gods. Could not be earned, could not be repeated. To test Gilgamesh, Utnapishtim gave him a simple task.
"Try to stay awake for 6 days and 7 nights," he said. Gilgamesh, exhausted from his long journey, sat down. And immediately, he fell into a deep sleep.
When he awoke, he knew he had failed. He could not even defeat sleep. How could he defeat death? His quest was over.
As he was leaving, Utnapishtim told him of one last secret. "At the bottom of the sea," he said, "there is a plant. It has thorns like a rose. It will not give you eternal life, but it will make you young again."
Hope returned to Gilgamesh's heart. He tied heavy stones to his feet. He walked on the bottom of the sea.
He found the plant. Though its thorns cut his hands, he took it. He would bring it back to Uruk. He would share it with the old men of his city.
On the journey home, he stopped at a cool pool of water. He left the precious plant on the shore. As he bathed, a snake smelled the sweet flower.
It slithered out of the grass. It ate the plant. And immediately, it shed its old skin. It was young again.
Gilgamesh saw it happen. He fell to the ground and wept. Everything was lost. His journey, his pain, it was all for nothing.
He returned to Uruk with empty hands. He walked with the ferryman to the top of a hill. He looked down at his city.
He saw the great walls shining under the sun. And in that moment he understood. He pointed to the walls. "Look," he said, "this is my work."
A man cannot live forever. But what he builds, what he creates, the stories he leaves behind, these things can.
He had searched the world for a secret, but the answer was here all along. It was in the city he had built.
He was Gilgamesh, the king who saw the deep. He had faced death and returned, not with eternal life, but with wisdom.
And he wrote his story down on tablets of stone, so that his name, and the name of his friend Enkidu, would never be forgotten. Gilgamesh learned that a man cannot live forever.
But what we build and the stories we tell can.
Thank you for listening to Slow English Stories.
Join us next time for another epic tale.